Okay, so this is going to be my attempt to recreate something that Alan Rentfeld showed us at the PA Summit. So thank you very much to DAZ for inviting me down to the summit, and hopefully you'll see whether or not I was paying attention here. I hesitate to call this a tutorial because there's a lot of holes in my knowledge about DAZ Studio because I'm not really a studio user, but I am going to try and recreate what he showed us. The first step in this, which is making a door that you can articulate in a door frame, is to create a door in a door frame. He used Modo. I'm going to use Wings 3D because I don't have Modo, so this is just the process of me creating the model. So I'll quickly make a crude model of a door in Wings 3D, which shouldn't take me too long. I'll just make that a bit thinner. So scale axis, I'll scale it on the Z axis so it's a bit thinner, and then I'm just going to create the frame now from the door. Right, so I'll just do a shell extrude on that, and I'll do a shell extrude again so there's a bit of a gap between the two of them, and I'll get rid of the gap in the middle, and this, there's the door itself I'll name door appropriately, and this that's the frame I'll rename frame. So that's my little object. So I go File, Export, Wavefront Object, and call this, I've already had a go at this, it's taken a few goes this tutorial because I really am not that familiar with DAZ Studio. So save that as door and frame, overwrite it. Okay, so in DAZ Studio what I need to do now is File, Import, navigate to where my model is and open that, and then I just accept these settings whatever they are. Because of making it in Wings, the materials come out a bit bright, so that's just why that's glowing. That's not something that's wrong with DAZ Studio. And what I need to do is convert this, which is just a prop, I need to convert it into a figure. So if I select this and go to Edit, Object, Rigging, Convert Prop to Figure, and then just agree with this because I'm not really very sure what these mean. So I go Accept, and that gives it a hip bone. So at the moment it's only got one bone, and I need a bone for the door because I want to create a hinge along this edge so it can hinge on that point. So I now go into the bone editing tool, and you can see that the hip bone it's created points out horizontally for some reason. So I'm going to modify the Z rotation there to 90 and have it upright. I don't really know if that's a good move, but I believe that was a step that Alan took, so I'm going to do that as well. And I need another bone now, so if I right click I can create a child bone, and this is the bone I'm creating for the door itself. So I create child bone and call this the door bone. Okay, and it's in the tool settings. You can see some things going on here. I've got this tool setting tab which I had to get from window, and I just dropped it on the right here. But I presume that people familiar with DAZ Studio will know how to find that. I didn't. I had to search, but there you go. So in the tool settings for this, the joint editor, this bone tool, I need to set the selection group to door, and so that the assigned bone is now the door bone, and the rotation order I'm going to have Y first. Now when he started talking about rotation order, I confess I got a bit lost. Alan sort of held his hand up and started twisting his wrist around, and other people around the table did the same thing, so I presume that's you know about this, but I don't. So I need it to rotate on the Y-axis, and I'm not really sure which I should have next, X or Z or X, but I'm going to pick the first one and hope for the best. Right, having done that, you still can't articulate this because the door needs some weight, and we need to take weight from the frame, and I found the weight bit also a bit baffling, but I'm just going to follow the instructions and hope it turns out alright. So if I go to this polygon group editor tool here and select door and use this plus button there, I can select the entire door, and then I go to the weight tool with that selected. You can see there's like a little grid on it that shows it's selected, and the Y rotation is already selected. That's good because that's what I'm looking for. I go right click on that and fill selected faces and have it filled with 100% weight, so that now turns red to indicate it's got all the weight. And then when I go to the universal tool here with the door bone selected, I now find I can rotate it like so, which but you'll notice that it when you adjust it, whoops, goes closed. But if you've got the tools settings here for the universal tool and go from skin binding optimized to full, then when you do the adjustment you can see the intermediate phases of adjustment. But at the moment though it's rotating in the middle where the bone appeared by default, so to solve that problem go back to the bone editing tool there and move the position of the bone so it's over the point at which you want the hinges, and then when you go back to adjusting it, here we go, we've now got our hinged door in the door frame. So, and essentially that's as much as I've learned really on that topic that I've been able to retain. We were told a lot of other stuff and I'll try and recover that. I've made notes, but to be fair, a lot of it on rereading my notes is quite baffling. But there you go. I hope somebody can help me out here and perhaps explain a few of the reasons behind the steps that are taken, and also it'd be nice to know if I could create a slider or control of some sort in the parameters that could just be the door opening and closing, and then have some way to prevent it from going too far when you do that, because obviously it's not this rotation, but I can rotate it far too far. It'd be nice if I could limit it so it only opened in one direction and stopped when it reached the limit of the hinges there. So that's as far as I've got, so any clues would be gratefully received. Okay then, that's the end of the video. Cheers now.